Hey, this is a historical moment, man, for all us three to be together, brother.
That's cool. It's cool for sure.
Yeah, it's probably been officially since '93 since we were all in the same room here.
Us three. Yeah, us three together. I must say, brother, it is very humbling to be around you two guys, man. I love you guys. I just love the fact that what you guys doing and what you guys become, sons, fathers, businessmen. Hey, guys, this is from Kevin Franklin to you guys. It was a pleasure being at Catholic High with you guys, and it was absolutely wonderful being there with you, man.
Well, first off, it was great to walk the hallways with you at Catholic, Kevin, and especially proud of your career and all that you accomplished on and off the field. But man, I can remember Friday nights watching you and Warwick just get after it. And
yes.
You know, like Coach Weiner used to say, you couldn't tackle you guys in a telephone booth. So we had that going for us, and gave us a huge advantage on the football field. So we appreciate all the memories.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I echo Patrick's sentiment. So y'all can hear me okay? Y'all got me?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we ran into each other in the airport, and like Patrick said, I think that's the first time we've seen each other, man, in a minute. 20-something years. So, thank you for getting us together, man. It was cool seeing you in the airport. It's like, we hadn't missed a beat, man. You made it. You were laughing and smiling as always. So that was a really cool experience.
It's something about you guys, man. And I don't know about anybody else, but it's something about y'all because y'all were there with me. Y'all were my guys. And I want to say, guys, we set the precedence for a lot of studs after us, man. We were a big, we did some things, man. So we did some things, man. So, but you guys hold dear to my heart because I can open up to y'all because y'all are my guys. Like y'all graduated with me. Y'all were there with me 3 or 4 years. We were all there together. We played on teams together. Like it's different with you guys, man. I could beat Kevin Franklin and some guys I can't be that with, So it's just different,
No, I feel you. I mean, yeah, we met you in high school, but obviously Patrick and I've been knowing that dude since, God, we were 9 and 10 competing.
Yeah.
But then we finally got to be on the same team, which was cool. But, you think about what y'all did on the football field, what Patrick and I were lucky to do on the baseball field. Then you take, the basketball team at that time, too. It was just
yes.
Our grade had Ben and Casey, and then before that we had Pixley and Kevin Baptiste. So it was a special time to be a Catholic and just all the sports. And I don't know about Patrick, but I feel like our class got along real well too. Just diverse, different backgrounds, but we all kind of pulled the same way, and we all on the same boat, I guess. We all appreciated what each other did over there.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's neat, especially what our country is going through right now.
Yes. Sir.
With my background, I went to St. Thomas More before I went to Catholic High, and predominantly, if not 100%, white school.
Yeah.
And so my first real interaction, with black guys was at Catholic High and was with guys like Kevin Franklin. I'm like, man, I love this dude.
Right.
I hang out with this guy just
he's
like
all right.
else,
Keep this guy all right, man. He's all right. He's all right.
Yeah. So you kind of get forced to jump in the deep end, so to speak, and no one missed a beat. It was It was really cool, good atmosphere. And I think not only did we have respect for each other as students and part of the academic community, but you always know you hold that special bond, even if you're not on the same athletic team with a guy. If you still wear that C on your chest or that C on your hat, you've got that camaraderie and that respect and that brotherhood from day one. So, I think we need more of that. And, especially with what's going on in our country right now.
Yeah. And that was the reason why, guys, it was all this is kind of, it's two things orchestrated why I wanted to do it. And you guys knew it too. That's why y'all agreed to it. Is what's going on in the country, man. And they need to see that Kevin Franklin has buddies. Kevin Franklin has guys that he loved from Catholic High that graduated with me, went on to play Major League Baseball. I went to play NFL, but we still are brothers. We still love each other. We answer the call. We talk to each other. I still wanted people to see this dialogue between us. And the second one was what's going on in baseball. I don't know. So I wanted my viewers to see and my listeners to see and to hear from you guys, my buddies. I got some pretty cool friends and that know about baseball. They're not secondhand. They know about baseball. So those two things are the reason why I wanted to be with you guys and be on. And that's why it's going to that direction. But thank you guys for being on and going forward with that, man. So let's talk about you guys' sport, what's going on with it, and how do you guys see it? And what do you guys feel about what's going on with baseball right now?
Well, I think that, you know, the two topics you mentioned, one is more difficult than the other to
Yes,
to
it really is. Yes, sir. Yes.
And you're going to be surprised in my answer which one's more difficult, because I think the baseball one's more difficult than, than the other question.
I think so.
You know, because the root of the disagreement in baseball is all about money.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And people are going to dig their heels in no matter what. The other one, I think we can get through, and out of respect for our fellow humans, you know, that's a lot easier to have those discussions if you just sit back and listen.
Yes.
Now we can get to the baseball thing, and I personally, Chris, I don't know your opinions on this. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. It's the summer now. You're supposed to be playing baseball.
Yes, that's it.
I think we've deemed it where they've made the protocols to where health won't be an issue. They can properly social distance. Whether or not they're going to allow any fans, no fans, some fans, all fans in, that's up to different people, and that doesn't matter about the sport. That's outside the lines. They can do all they want with what happens in the stands. But on the field, these guys need to play, and I think they want to play. You know, what comes into play here is if Major League Baseball and the Players Association don't get together and agree on a proposal on one side or the other,
yes,
then there is a clause that kicks in where Major League Baseball can demand that they play. Well, that becomes a one-sided argument.
There you go.
And then the players have grounds for disputes and litigation going for a long time forward, because baseball the baseball owners can unilaterally make decisions without including the Players Association, and that would be
all the collective bargaining agreement and stuff like that, right? They don't have to agree. Yeah,
that goes out. That goes out the window in that situation. And in the future, in 2 years, they have a new, you know, the collective bargain agreement terminates, and so they're going to have to go through this again. So you're looking at this coming up 2 times in a 2-year period, which is scary for baseball.
Yes.
And scary for fan interest. My concern is, you know, I've got 3 young kids, and this is their formational years, is when they latched on to sports or players or their heroes or their teams.
Yes.
And if you don't have a season, regardless, whether it be man-made or pandemic-made, you're losing an opportunity for those kids to latch on to baseball. And baseball is a struggling sport right now from a fan interest.
Fans and fans, vendors, stuff like that. Yes.
And if you don't have a way to go watch that game, you know, which is turn on ESPN or major MLB Network, as a kid, you know, you don't create those heroes. You don't find those guys you want to emulate and follow and all that. And so I think there's a huge void. And especially if they have a lockout or a strike, you know, after the end of the collective bargaining agreement, you've got the old 2-strike whammy in 2 years. That's a lot of trouble for the future.
That's a lot, and for the future of baseball, right? That's a lot. That's a hurt. That's 2 big hurts. What about you, Chris? What about you? What do you think about those?
I mean, I think Patrick hit the nail on the head. And then just to kind of piggyback off of what he said, you think about it from a fan interest perspective. I know Patrick has young boys, and my son is a senior at Catholic High right now, but he lost interest in baseball 4 years ago. Now I've been to some of the local parks, and we're in a unique situation here in Baton Rouge. Patrick and I were kind of at the beginning of it, but what Skip Burtman did with the local youth baseball here in town, he really built a huge following. And Baton Rouge is unique just because there's always going to be a lot of youth baseball around here.
Yes, sir.
I think what's going to hurt is if they don't come to an agreement, or if they're even looking at a potential strike down the road, or they don't play this summer, the fan interest, Major League Baseball does a terrible job of marketing its product anyway. I think they're way behind in terms of the NFL and the NBA, just in terms of marketing.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that somewhere too. Some guys were talking about that on one of the channels. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Trout's the best player in Major League Baseball, and I guarantee if you pull 10 kids aside, varying age groups, and I bet you.
They said the guys, they could walk down the street and guys won't even know who they are. They're like, "Oh, you play Major League Baseball? Oh, cool." they don't even know who he is. Right.
But I'll tell you a funny story that kind of illustrates that is when our buddy Ryan Terrio was playing with the Cubs. He had a rent house literally less than a quarter mile from Wrigley Field.
Wow.
And so he could walk to the field every day. And so he would walk down the street, Waverly Avenue, which is a famous street that Wrigley Field's on. And he would walk right to the stadium. He would put on a Terrio jersey that you buy from like Dick's Sporting Goods, and a Cubs hat. And no one would stop him and notice him. They thought it was just a fan.
Just some guy. Hey, you just some guy that got the jersey on.
Yeah, because no one believed that a 5'10" guy that was wearing a Terrio jersey would have really been Terrio.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's like Patrick. I mean, baseball players in the big leagues look like normal guys. They look like all of us. They're not 6'7". They're not 250-pound just monsters coming off the edge. And then the other thing too is you got, I don't know, Patrick, but probably half the league is Latino right now. So that's not an issue, but to market those players and to get generate interest is I think they're kind of on the precipice. It could be bad, just with everything Patrick said and losing fan interest and losing young kids today. It's going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out because it's already the third most popular sport, right now. So it's just going to maybe kick further down the totem pole, I guess. I don't know.
Right. And another question: what would you guys play? And what side of this thing would you be on if you both played? Now, here's all of my people in my podcast, all my people that follow the podcast from Calicut. These guys that know them, that don't know these two guys, they both played baseball, both played at LSU, national champions, played in the minor leagues and the major league, so they know about it a little bit. But would you guys play right now if you were playing?
Well, if you're asking what side I'd fall on, I've never been a billionaire and owned a Major League Baseball team or any sports franchise team.
Right.
So I don't know how that feels.
Yes.
I don't know about you guys, but if I'm missing a paycheck, that's going to hurt me a little bit.
There you go. I've been telling people that. Yes, sir.
I'm playing and pay me my money and let's go play the game we love. Not only for ourselves, but for the fans, for our teammates. Right. And just for the thing that makes us happy and what we do. So I'm all for playing, and that they've got something trending on Twitter with the guys. It's hashtag win and wear, and they're just waiting to be told when and where and
where
let's
we going.
Go play.
What time? I got to be there, baby. What time I got to be there? How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I think I would play too. I'd want to play. I'd be itching right now if I was in those guys.
Oh yeah.
You can only throw and hit so much and do things to keep yourself in shape before. I mean, we're all competitors here, and we're all former athletes. So it's just, I'd want to be out there too. And I mean, you see things like the Korean Baseball League; they're not playing with fans in the stands, and I think there's enough information and protocols in place to where they can definitely make something happen. And
Yes. It's too digital. I think having fans in the stands, I think is so digital that them being able to watch it at 2:00 in the morning, Major League Baseball at 2:00 in the morning, streaming on their phones. I think fans are just part of it. I think they're part of the equation. I just think that it being so streaming wise, digital, you can stream it everywhere all over the country with your phones. I just think that's where it's going. Everything is virtual. So I think baseball has to head in that direction too, and don't worry too much about fans. From what I heard, now tell me that about this guy. So that's why I'm asking you guys, because I don't know. They didn't have some fields didn't have a lot of people in the stands anyway.
No.
I mean, if you. Go ahead, I was going to say you look at the Miami Marlins. LSU at Alex Box Stadium averages more per home game than the Marlins do.
Wow.
So you're right. Some of those places, fan interest is a zero sum game for whether they're going to play.
Right.
What's interesting is that unlike the NBA and the NFL, Major League Baseball's revenues rely on about 35% of TV deals, and they're mostly regional deals anyway.
Yeah, right.
So you would think that that would help them withstand a recession or lack of play. Actually, it's the opposite in this scenario, because if only 35% of your revenues come from TV dollars, then that means the other 65% has to come from butts in the seats and merchandise sale. And if you don't have people coming to the games and buying hot dogs and beers, then your revenue's drying up pretty quickly.
Yeah, you're going south.
Yeah, you're going the wrong way.
You're going south.
And so I think that's why you keep seeing these proposals and counter proposals, and it doesn't matter about the number of games,
right,
or the percent of prorated salaries per game. Major League Baseball has been consistent with the sum of the dollars they're going to spend.
Okay.
So they're at a point now where they said, we'll pay you 100% of your prorated salary, but we're only going to play 60 games. Well, that's the exact same of playing 84 games with 80% prorated salary. It's the same amount of dollars.
Yeah, same amount of money. It's just they over so many games, correct?
Yeah, you're still going to get the exact same amount of money. So if I'm a player and I'm looking at this situation where, you're having an extended spring training, then you stop, then you got to go back to spring training. Well, there's likelihood, especially as a pitcher, there's a greater likelihood that you're going to get injured in this season, right?
Yeah.
Not that it's going to happen, but the odds are better that you're going to. So I'm going to say, to me as a player, I would say, give me the 100% prorated and let's play less games and let me mitigate my risk on getting injured.
That's no brainer.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, both of us being pitchers, because if they were to go back and play and say they have a hard cutoff date, I think, what is it, like end of September, then the World Series runs into October again, I think, right?
Right.
October. But like Patrick said, then you're back at spring training, right? Back in spring training again in February.
Yeah.
So that's a really tight turnaround to where those guys are ramping up. I guess obviously they would expand the rosters and stuff. But, an injury concern, I don't think so much from a position player perspective, but from a pitcher perspective, if I'm one of those big-time guys, an injury concern would be that would definitely be at the forefront of my mind, just try to ramp up, get in shape. Then you don't need to really shut it down for the most part. It's just because there's such a quick turnaround to spring training. So there's a lot going on,
I got you. So two questions, guys, and I'll let you guys go. I know you guys got a busy life. I didn't want to keep you guys long. What do we do? The three of us on here. We got three guys on here. Two play Major League. I'm at the Y. We have youth organizations at the Y. What do we do to push baseball forward? What would we do to push youth sports forward in a good way? Now, you got some people, they're pushing it competitively, they're pushing it athletically, they're pushing it, they're just pushing it in a totally another direction. And we all both know the numbers in youth sports. They're very high and there's a lot of money in it. But what do we do, the three of us, we know the gap between and where the falters are, where everything lies. What do we three do to push baseball in a positive direction? Youth baseball in a positive direction.
And Kevin, that's kind of been a decades-long question because of, there has been a ramp up in youth baseball, and then we see it plateau out, and then it's gone by mid-high school years. Only the elite players, continue on to play. Well, and there's attrition there because, there's only so many high school spots for guys.
Right.
But I think one of the issues, especially early on, and Chris alluded to this, and I've got a middle child who, is kind of part of this. Early on, you mentioned it's a high dollar, ticket item, especially travel baseball.
Yeah, travel baseball. Yes.
And so when these organizations are charging the amount of money they charge, they have to justify it, right?
Okay.
So they have to justify it with the amount of practice time. The amount of practice time they give the kids, the amount of game experience they give the kids, the amount of tournaments, the amount of out-of-town tournaments, the amount of hotel rooms that it costs to go to those out-of-town tournaments.
Right.
And quite frankly, some kids love it and absolutely would not do anything other than that.
Yes.
While the vast majority of them get burnt out after doing it for a year or two.
Yes.
And they're on to basketball and football, and baseball is done, and they feel like there's no going back to it.
Right.
My middle son is that way, and
yeah. And Chris said his son left it alone a while ago. So.
Yeah. So my middle son, well, my oldest son is baseball only. He loves it and wouldn't change anything. My middle son didn't want to play baseball anymore, and now only does football and basketball, which he loves. So I don't think there's any right answer. One of the things that Major League Baseball and their studies have shown over the years is the difference in participation rates between white people and all others.
Yes. Good job. I got you.
And there's a real reason for that if you think about it.
Right.
Kev, think about when you were growing up and you and your buddies.
Yes, sir.
And you said, "Hey, let's get a basketball game together."
Yeah.
Well, you only needed 4 people, right? You could play 2.
Yeah, we 2 on 2.
1-on-1.
Yeah, we play 21. You know what I'm saying? We play at PE at Catholic High. We play 21, baby.
Yeah,
right.
And all you needed was a ball, and you went to the park because it had a goal, right?
Right. That's it.
All right. Okay. So football, you can play 2 on 2. You can play 3. You can play street
pick up
ball
and run. Pick up and run. Yeah, stuff like that.
You got to have kids and a ball.
That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Basketball, kids ball, hoop at the park.
That's it.
Okay. Now let's go to baseball. Yeah, you can play 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 with a ball, right?
Right.
Not the same game as baseball, but still just as fun, if not more fun, in my opinion. Right. But if you think about it, to play a legitimate baseball game,
right?
You need 18 guys.
Right.
You need at least 9 gloves.
Yes. Yes.
A $300 bat.
Right.
Space.
You got to have bases. You got to have space. Yeah. You got to have catcher's equipment. Somebody's got to bring the catcher's equipment. Right. That's a lot of effort for kids that go have fun
for a pickup game, baby. That's a lot, man.
So let's go play basketball or football instead. Right. That's a lot of work, you know?
Right.
And I think that's what our kids are challenged against, and why baseball is a struggling third to those sports. Because it takes a lot of money, right? To get all that equipment together. You know it. If you're directing, if you're trying to program your camps, and you've got the choice between football, basketball, or God forbid having to go find 9 gloves, bats, balls, and all the bases, set all that up.
Yeah,
you're
Coach,
going basketball, football, and capture the flag every time.
I got all the equipment, and I have a hard time. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I had a hard time because I have equipment. I have all the equipment, and I don't have a participation. But Chris, go ahead. I know you have to have a couple of things. I saw you chime in earlier.
Yeah, I totally, Patrick probably said it a little more eloquently than I could have, but I definitely, I was talking to my wife about this the other day. I definitely think it's a socioeconomic issue. It's one of the issues. Wholeheartedly agree, and I've thought that for years with what Patrick said. Second, I think if you specifically in the Baton Rouge area, Patrick and I grew up. We played at the CYO over there behind Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart, yeah.
I went to school at Sacred Heart, so when I grew up, my dad coached me at the CYO, and then we both lived kind of off of that O'Neill Millerville area, and that's when we started competing against each other.
Right.
We grew up and played at Millerville in the local league. And then they had a big American Legion program around town. And then we kind of moved over to, Perkins Road Park over by Kenilworth. My point is there was a lot of leagues, local youth leagues.
Yes.
And now, there's really no leagues. All that stuff's kind of gone by the wayside. And it's even as early as 6 and 7 years old, you can play travel T-ball. You can play travel coaches pitch to where.
Yeah, because nobody's playing, right? Nobody's playing in the city and in your area, right?
So I think within Baton Rouge itself, I can't speak to the rest of the country, but you've lost a lot of the grassroots local leagues. Like my son grew up playing YMCA T-ball. So a lot of that stuff, I think, where dads were the coaches has gone by the wayside. Maybe it's some of the funding, maybe some of the parks have been taken away. There's no really places to play, and it's morphed into travel ball kids for kids that can afford it. So I think that cuts out half the community. And I mean, if I just sit here and think about it, all the places we played when we were growing up, the American Legion program nationwide has gone, it's basically disappeared, I think, for the most part.
It's pretty much gone. They have different leagues, but it's pretty much gone, and it's don't even hardly exist. They used to call it the American Legion Pony. Remember the Pony League back in the day? Nowadays, it don't even exist anymore. Like some of that stuff is gone. It's just gone to the wayside, and it's a shame that it has, man. You know, and especially for me. And I'll tell you guys this story. I started off playing baseball. That was my first sport, and it was just something that. What happened with us is that teams we got kind of discriminated against. A lot of teams didn't want to play us. We were from the inner city. We were very athletic, and we just kind of got pushed out. You know what I'm saying? And it was a shame that it happened to us when we were younger. But my first with Pittsburgh Pirates, I never forget it. It was my first sport. I loved it. My parents, my father's friend actually played in some of the some of the lower leagues and stuff like that. But baseball has always had a place. My grandfather, my great grandfather, he always used to watch the Cubs and the Braves on TV. So to pull this thing full circle, guys, I have a love for baseball from you guys. That's one, and from my how I started my athletic career was in baseball. So now you guys see why I love you guys so much. I love you guys so much because I have my heart and all my stuff was baseball. That was my first sport, but it was just I couldn't keep doing it. Both of you guys, I couldn't keep doing it. I couldn't keep affording to play. I couldn't have 8 players, 16 players come on the team, and I gravitated to what football, basketball, track. I just graduated to stuff that didn't cost a lot of money because I didn't have a lot of money. I'll just be honest and tell y'all guys that. So
I will say that, you know, Major League Baseball has done a good job in respect to that. Yes. One of the things that a lot of people may not know about, you know, they haven't buried their heads on the sand on this because they know the future of baseball is in the youth leagues.
In the youth, right. Right.
So Major League Baseball across the country has a program called RBI.
Yes, I've seen it. Yes.
It stands for Reviving Baseball in the Inner Cities. And so they've got the RBI program. New Orleans has a fairly large RBI program. In fact, they've got their own stadium and kind of complex.
Sweet.
It's actually kind of close to the interstate near where Jesuit High School is.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
And so they do a lot of grassroots stuff there, host leagues. They're involved with the MLBPA, and the MLBPA trust has a lot to do with it, and they fund that 100% between Major League Baseball and the Players Association. They fund that, so you can see some stuff. They have national tournaments where you know you can advance through leagues, and you know, probably not this summer, I would guess, but you know, a typical summer, at the end of the summer, you can turn on MLB Network during the day, and you'll see these kids and these teams competing, in, you know, for the RBI championships, and it's kids of all ages, and, and they play on national TV. So, you know, I just wanted to put that out there. Well,
that's why I wanted to have y'all on. I didn't even know about it. It was that in depth, so that's why I had you guys on to tell me about that.
I don't know if you remember Ron Washington, but he was the manager for the Nationals for a while.
Yeah,
he's from New Orleans. And he's now back in New Orleans, and he's head of the RBI program.
And reviving it. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a good thing.
I got you, Coach. Well, Coach, like I said, man, it was an honor. It was a pleasure, man, to talk to you guys about the things that's going on in the world, to talk to you guys about baseball. I don't know much about it, but again, guys, I want to give it to you. Guys, I'm going to call you guys all the time. Say, man, I don't know about this baseball thing. Patrick, Chris, can y'all help me, man? Because I don't want to seem, you know, because I know my sport. I know football. So I want to tell you guys, hey, man, I appreciate having you on, man. I love both of you guys, man. So in closing, guys, tell us a little bit about what you're doing, your babies. Can you tell me? I always end with tell me what you're doing. Tell me about your beautiful families. Tell me about that, guys.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'll come on and you know, give you my advice and my thoughts on it anytime. Only for a fair trade. You got to teach my son how to run as fast as Kevin Franklin.
Coach, I got it, Coach. Anytime he want to come, I got it, Coach. He got it. Look, he just got to work. That's it. I got
it. You got to teach him that. You got to teach him that.
That quick twist.
Yeah. But right now, Kevin, I'm living here in Baton Rouge. Right now, I'm running the Sports BR, which is a nonprofit foundation here in Baton Rouge, and we bring in large sporting events, you know, to help with tourism in our area. and it's been a very satisfying job. I served on the board for a number of years, and our current CEO decided to go back into academics, and he's now running the Cristo Rey School in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, I know well. I know Cristo Rey well.
Yeah, and so we were, as a board member, we were without a CEO.
Right.
And was convinced in the interim I've been doing that. I've got three sons. I've got 17, 11, about to turn 12, and then a 3-year-old. Gonna be a junior, gonna be a 6th grader, and gonna be a 3-year-old.
Yes, brother. I don't know what 3-year-old. I met him a couple of times. He gonna be a baller. I like him, man. He my boy. I like him. I met your 3-year-old a couple of times. I met your young.
He's got some personality to him. We're doing well, living in Baton Rouge, and enjoying to get to see all the old teammates, and from Catholic, from LSU, from from all around. So
that's it. All right. Yep. What about you, Chris? What about you, brother? What you got going on, baby?
So my family and I, we moved to Dallas 6 years ago for work, and we actually just moved back into town. Right after Christmas to help out a family member. So it was fun to get back into town. There was just a lot going on, So I have 3 kids as well. I have going to be a senior at Catholic, so we're able to get him into the alma mater.
Go Bears! There you go. Go Bears! Here we go.
We'll be calling some of his football games this year. So
yes, sir. I'll be there. Yes, sir.
Going to be a sophomore. I have a girl. She's 15 at Parkview, and then I have another daughter who's 13, who will be an 8th grader at St. Jude. So 3 kids in schools. And and I'm in sales. I'm in medical sales. So you actually saw me at the airport. I was leaving to go to my training. Yeah, when you saw me, I was going to my training. So
yes, Miami. I think we're going to Miami. I think we're going to Miami.
Vacation. Yeah, I was going to work. So,
But, I don't get many, brother. I don't get many, but I have to go. My wife likes to travel a lot, man, so I end up traveling with her. So I go with her a lot, and she likes to travel. I like to work, man. I like to get it in. Y'all know me, man. I'm nose to the grindstone, but it's good to be married so I can look up, and you guys both are married. It's good to look someone to have you and say, hey, man, slow down.